Welcome to this edition of Miles Ahead, and you join us on this gloomy autumnal afternoon to look at something that is anything but gloomy, the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio. Bad reviews of this car are rare as hen's teeth, and there's a good reason for that, which we will get into on the drive along. So we're going to start now, we're going to have a quick walk around, have a quick look at the inside, then we'll take it out on the road and we will listen to that 2.9 litre bi-turbo V6 sing. So this car produces 510 horsepower, 600 newton meters of torque, which kick in from 2,500 RPM. So you feel real nice shove when you go through the rev range as well. But again, we'll get to that on the drive along. So starting price of this car is £68,055. Model tested here with the optional extras is £77,055. So we'll start here at the front. It comes in this Trofeo white paint, which I think actually really suits this car. I thought it might look better in red. I did see a red one today actually. But I do quite like it in white. The only thing is it's picked up quite a lot of dirt considering it was clean yesterday, so please forgive us for that. As we move around the side, this does have the optional classic Alfa Romeo 5-spoke alloys, and they come in at £750. And as we see here, we've got some Quadrifoglio denotation on the side. We'll just unlock it, because as we come around the side, so you can see you've got the carbon fibre at the bottom here, so that is offset really nicely by the white. I think you'd lose that a bit with the red, and you've got the privacy glass here. And while we're around here, we'll just have a quick jump in the back. So I'm 6'2", the driving seat is in my position at the moment, and yeah, once you get in, it's yeah, there's plenty of space in here, and it's actually quite nicely finished in here. Actually, it's quite minimalist, but it's quite relaxing, nice place to be. And we'll just have a quick look at the stitching here, because you've got the contrast green and white stitching there as well. And to go with that, we have these rather fetching green seat belts, yours for 350 quid. There's an armrest back here as well, Isofix and all that sort of stuff as well. And again, 5-spoke alloys at the back. I should mention these are 19-inch wheels. Forgot to mention that at the top. As we come around the back here, we've got the smoked tail lights here, which look really nice. And we've got the black Giulia badging as well. And you get the carbon fibre rear wing as well. And for £3,250, you get this rather fantastic Akrapovic quad exhaust system. Now, this makes a right racket. And I would strongly suggest, if you're in the market for a car like this, you buy in the 2.9 litre bi-turbo V6, you want to hear it sing. That is an option worth ticking. I know it's expensive, but it is an option worth ticking. They do sound fantastic. And just while we're around here, to finish off the walk around, we'll just have a quick look in the boot. Yeah, plenty of space in there. Get all the stuff in for those family journeys. But anyway, let's see what it's like inside. So this is the inside of the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio. Now we'll start with the key, because sometimes with these keyless operations you struggle for somewhere to put them, but Alfa Romeo have thought of that, and you can just shove it in there, and it's well sealed in there, even for more spirited driving. And whilst we're down here, we'll just have a look. This carbon fibre here, that's an optional extra as well, and that extends to up here, and you get the leather on the gear knob here as well, and you know, there's a mixture of touchscreen works up here. In fact, we'll start that up now. Get that V6 rumbles into life. So that's touchscreen, and you can operate it through here as well. So there's a little something for everyone. And your HVAC operations are down here. You've got heated seats, heated steering wheel as well. Moving up to here, so you get leather steering wheel with a bit of Alcantara insert as well. So it's got carbon fibre inlay there as well, and the Quadrifoglio badging there as well. When you start the car up, it does start up in normal mode, so it's got what it calls DNA. So you stick it into A, which is essentially eco mode, N normal, D is dynamic, and then if you twist and hold this down, it transforms it into race mode. Now I hope the audio's come through there, because the exhaust really does kick in. We just give that a quick, really makes itself felt through there, which is, you know, which is nice. So if you're going to be doing track days and that sort of stuff, you'll be using that mode, but it does turn all the traction control settings off, so you're very much on your own. But as we'll get along to in the drive along, it is a little bit tail happy at times, this car, so you have been warned. Back down here, there is a wireless charging pad for your phone, and in here it has USB, auxiliary and USB-C charging points, and a 12-volt there, so Alfa Romeo have covered all bases. And also this holds itself as well, so it doesn't just slam down on you, which is quite good. And there's another charging socket down here too. So we'll have a quick look at the infotainment system now. It's pretty good. You know, it's it's functional, it's easy to get to grips with, you can have your phone connected in no time, no complaints, the screen's really clear, it's easy to use, and there's a lot of information, and you've got your performance settings and all that sort of stuff, so you can really keep an eye on what you're doing there as well. And then up here you get the analog dials, so you've got speedo on the right, revs on the left, and then you get your digital information down the middle there as well, and that's really customizable, so there's a whole host of information that you can get hold of up there. On the whole, I'd say, yeah, this is a really nice place to be. I like the finishing in here. I really like the green and white stitching on the seats here, and I do like the green seat belts. Other colours are available, and I think it just suits this car, and it just feels really nicely put together actually. Controls on the steering wheel for volume and cruise control, super easy to use. And I should probably mention as well, before we get onto the drive along, these paddles, because you'll see me using them during that. They are really good and really long, so you can use them underneath the bottom there, and you don't have to hold your hands at the top here to change the gears. And yeah, they do add another dimension to the driving experience of this car. So on that, let's see what it's like to drive. So crucially for this car, what's it like out on the road? Well, we'll start with the exhaust note. V6 is always very happy to make its presence felt. I mean, it is a fantastic engine, I have to say, and I mean, overall this car is, I mean, it's very easy to see why journalists and owners and everyone who's been in this car loves it. I mean, particularly on the media front, because this is such an engaging car. It's very, very different to other things that you drive in this sort of range. You know, it's rear wheel drive, it's very involving, it leads you to your own devices, and it will spit you out, and I quite like it for that. It's you know, it's really engaging to drive. I used to own a Honda S2000, and that did the same. If you weren't quite on it, it would try and kill you, and this car will. So you've got the 3 settings across this car. So you've got eco, normal and dynamic effectively, and each does bring a little something different to the table, which is nice. If you've got it in eco, everything's at its softest setting, it's nice and quiet, and then stick it into normal, it's a bit more responsive. But then dynamic is really when it, you know, it comes alive, and so the suspension stiffens up, the exhaust valves open, and yeah, it's most leery. There is race mode as well, although when the car was delivered to me they did say don't put it in that because that will invalidate your insurance because it turns everything off. So I'm not a good enough driver for messing around with that sort of stuff. We've not been on track, we've just been on the road, so the most adventurous I've got is dynamic, but that is more than enough. It's good. So yeah, going back to the sort of the involvement you get with it, I mean, it is so engaging and such an intoxicating car to drive. I can really see why people love it, but there is a slight negative in that, because I don't think that this car will be for everyone as a result of that, because it is rear wheel drive. It's a bit leery, to be honest. You know, it will step out of line. People like the safety, they like to remove the jeopardy from things. That's absolutely fine. Who doesn't want to be safe? You know, the German marques deliver a bit more of that with the 4-wheel drive, and you know, you can go super fast and be super safe, really. Whereas with this, you can go super fast, and you know, you've got to have your wits about you. It's a proper driver's car. But if you're looking for a car like this, you're going to do your research, you're going to know about it, and you know it's going to hit the mark for you. It is engaging, and it is, you know, the way it is, and you know, you're not driving it for that sort of ultra safe experience and the 4-wheel drive and all that sort of stuff, and that's why people like this car so much. And yeah, definitely if you're looking at ownership, then that sort of stuff's definitely going to come into consideration. But away from sort of more spirited driving, this is at heart still a family saloon. So how does it perform as one of those, a sort of lifestyle angle? You know, really well. Been surprised at how, you know, pliant this car is over bumps and imperfections in the road. I mean, in its softest setting on the suspension, you can really go over speed bumps very easily. There aren't too many intrusions in the cabin, and it's, yeah, I've been surprised at how good it is. Even in the stiffer suspension setting, it doesn't wobble around too much, it never feels too firm. It's, you know, they've done a really good job on that. It's excellently judged. Obviously you've got Isofix in the back, you've got big enough boots, you can get the family around, but you know, once you've dropped the family off and you're by yourself, you can really get out and enjoy this. The other points to note, just how good the steering is in this. I mean, it's like it's telepathic. It's just absolutely in tune with what you're doing. So when you're out on a decent B road, you can really pick your line, you can thread it through beautifully, and it's just wonderfully weighted. It's really, you know, it feels like a lot of thought and engineering's gone into it, and it's really good, I have to say. Another thing to note, when you stick it into manual mode as well, you can really run it down the gears quite nicely, and it responds well to the changes. They add something to the experience, which isn't always the case with the sort of semi-automatic box. It's an 8-speed ZF box in this, and it's just really nicely judged. It really adds to the experience. I mean, quite often I would just leave it in manual on the basis that the gearbox will do a better job than I could ever do, but in this it really adds to it. It's really nice. You can just keep the car flowing beautifully with it, and because it's so rev happy, you do fly through the rev range very quickly, so you're always engaged in the drive. Again, might not be something that's to everyone's taste, but if you're looking for that immersive experience, that undoubtedly adds to it, and just brings the engine into play really nicely as well. It's really good. One other minor complaint, so the exhaust, so it's got the option of the Krapovich exhaust, so the valves open that as you go through the settings. Obviously between eco, normal, dynamic, they open progressively, but to get them at the most leery you have to have it in race. Now that obviously entails turning all the traction control off and all that sort of business, so not an option you're going to want to be using too often on the road, but it would be nice if there was the individual settings so that you could have it in its most aggressive exhaust setting and, you know, drive along, you know, with the traction control on and all that sort of stuff. But I mean, that is but a minor drawback on it. I guess just really covering old ground with this car. It's just so easy to see why everyone loves it. I can only back up what everyone else has said. I know there's not original. I guess the only take to consider would be that this isn't going to be for everyone. You know, you've got to stay on top of it, you've got to manage it, and little things like, you know, it says it'll do 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds. Well, we're out on the road at the moment, it's 12 degrees, there's a bit of surface moisture on the road. You're not going to get 0 to 60 in 3.9 in this settings. At the start of the video, when we're doing the heavy acceleration there to listen to the exhaust, you can feel it squirming away underneath you. I mean, that does undoubtedly adds to the sense of enjoyment. From my perspective, I like it for that, but, you know, definitely worth noting that that's not going to be for everyone. With the way that is, but you know, like I said, if you're after this sort of car, you're going to know what it's about, you're going to know what it delivers, and it's a really unique proposition in the sort of family saloon market at the moment. Cars like these are few and far between, and, you know, bad reviews of this car are rare as hen's teeth for a very good reason. If this is the sort of car you're after an engaging bit of a lunatic family saloon, then, you know, you're just not going to be disappointed. Everyone who's driven one loves it, everyone who owns one loves it, and yeah, it's just really not going to disappoint, and I feel very fortunate to have had a week with it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit like, and also please subscribe. We've got loads on the channel already, and we've got loads more coming up as well. We've got a Seat Leon next, we've got a Kia Stinger GT, we've got a Lamborghini Aventador coming up, we've got Polestar 1, we've got a Range Rover SV Autobiography, so we've got a good range of cars coming up. So yeah, please hit subscribe, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Thanks.